Hey guys, welcome back. I know it's been, nearly like 3 years almost since I last posted. Kind of been a bit busy in life. Things happen. Um, I've moved around a few times. Finally, where I want to be. Um, there will be some more content coming. This is just like my first video back. A bit nervous. It's been too long since I've sat and just filmed. There's going to be a couple different videos and things. This is just me, explaining stuff, and then after this short little bit of me explaining, the rest of the video is going to be me reviewing something that I bought just in time for if you decided to get it for somebody for Christmas. Um, but before any of that, I will be posting different kinds of videos, not just the survival stuff. So I'll possibly be posting airsoft content, um, maybe some games and things. It'll just depends on how things go. Uh, I might be getting some coffee chat type videos back again. Maybe with some other people if they decide they are okay with being on film. If not, I'll just be on my own. Um, Content won't be as regular as it was before. I mean, not that it was that regular anyway, but you know, uh, I'm just trying to start it up again as a little hobby and then see where things go. Um, I would like to shout out Sir Jellybean. He's one of my friends. He makes a lot of like game content and things, a lot of like strategy stuff and a lot of lore videos, things like that for games. But it's because of him that I'm finally getting back into this. So I'd like to thank him very much, and please go, check him out. I know there's not a lot of you, and a lot of you might not even see this video, but I'd appreciate if you went and checked him out, and if you like him, stay along because he's a great guy, really funny, great mate. Um, so before we get on with the video, I would like to add a disclaimer about this. So it's an advent calendar. It is the advent calendar survival kit. That's what it looks like on Amazon. That's what the front looks like. Um, I would just like to say that not only does the advent calendar say this, but so do I. If you don't know about the survival stuff, or you haven't done it, it's not really something you get someone as like a gag gift. I wouldn't like if your dad or your boyfriend or whatever, or your girlfriend or your mom is like an outdoorsy person, then I wouldn't really get it because some items can be a bit dangerous. Um, and people could get hurt if they don't know what they're doing with things. So sorry about all the uhs and the ums and the, it's been a while. Um, but anyway, with that being said, um, let's get on with actually reviewing it. So, obviously, it comes behind 24 doors, but obviously, I've taken it out. I had a play around with some bits, and this is what I think about it. So, this is a waterproof case. Everything has fit inside it. Um, the waterproofing's okay. I'm not sure how much I trust it. I mean, I ran it under the sink and it stayed dry, but I wouldn't trust it all that much because there's gaps in the zipper and things. So, but yeah, It's not a bad case. So we then have this whistle here. It's got a little flashlight on it. It's quite bright. It has a compass and a thermometer. However, I don't trust them at all. The compass is not really accurate, and I doubt the thermometer is either, because it's saying it's about 25 degrees and it's really not. Inside we have a signal mirror and a little magnifying glass to help you start fires with the sun, if you know how to do that. Obviously comes with a lanyard and the whistle. The whistle's okay, you know, it's not the best whistle. For 2 of the days you get glow sticks, which, you know, they're only the cheap glow sticks, but at the end of the day a glow stick is a glow stick, so it'll probably last like 4 hours. You know, it's not terrible. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a glow stick. You get this Molly clip water bottle holder, so you get a plain normal, like, you know, plastic water bottle from the shop, and you put the top through there, and you plug it back in like that, and it carries your water bottle. Personally, I'm not like a huge fan of these. Because if you wear it on your belt, it's a bit like clanky against your leg and it gets uncomfortable. But if you're gonna put it on, like, you know, the side of a bag or something, amazing. You know, it's not actually all that bad, but I don't know, if you're okay with it, like bouncing around a little bit, then that's fair enough. But personally, I'm not. I do think it's a really good item. So there is this spork set here. It's a solid metal spork. You know, it's not exactly flimsy. And there's a whistle on the backhand, but the reason why it has this sheath is because it has quite a sharp blade on there and a little bottle opener. Because apparently, if you're in the wilderness or whatever, I guess you'll be having a lot of J2Os or beers. It is cool though, you know, I mean, metal spork, it's always great to have, and it comes with a whistle on there, so, you know, just in case. You've got a lovely little whistle. You also get an actual pretty decent compass that does show true north correctly. I know because I already own one of these exact compasses. I will say that with everything you get in this advent calendar, it is worth the price, because just a few of these pieces add up to being more than what the calendar's actual value is. I did find it on Amazon. I won't be linking it, just because, you know, some bits are, you know, dangerous, but if you want to find it, you can just type in like survival advent calendar, and there's a few to pick from, but again, it looks like this on the box, so that's the one I got. It comes with this little flashlight and lantern. It's quite bright, and it has an adjustable zoom on there, and then it flashes, and then you have the actual lantern piece, which again is incredibly bright. It is USB chargeable, as you can see there, with a USB-C plug. It does come with one of those, so you don't have to worry about already owning one. I actually think that's quite well put together, I won't lie. Then you have this waxed twine, which is actually really great. You know, it takes well to a spark, and, you know, it's a good flame to start a fire with. You know, it's actually pretty good. I highly recommend it. Another thing is you get this wire saw. So, I'm not a fan of these wire saws. They can be a bit flimsy. I've not used this one because I've used one in the past. they're not very comfortable to use either, because you just have these key rings that you hold on to, whereas other like hand chainsaws and things I've used in the past, they've had like nylon strapped handles, which is way nicer. But yeah, sometimes these can snap, and they're quite dangerous, and they take a little bit of time to get used to using, as well as they're a bit painful and a bit difficult to go through wood sometimes. But if you can get past all that, they're actually quite good. If you're like in a bind, they can be quite useful. But in saying that, I personally don't recommend these ones. But if you've been in the survival scene for a while, and you're just looking for like a cheap little or a small little handheld like saw that you can just have on hand just in case, like they're not a bad thing to go for. But again, I personally wouldn't recommend it, but that's just me. As a nice surprise in this, actually, is I think that's like 10 emergency blankets. As you can see, it's the like the foil ones. They're quite big ones, and this one is 130 by 210 centimeters, so quite big size. Emergency blankets, always amazing to have on hand. They're great. I mean, they can literally save lives, and you can turn them into shelters and things, or it's just all kinds of stuff. An emergency blanket, always great to have. It keeps the heat in. It can be used as that like water resistant, and they can be a bit flimsy, but again, at the end of the day, if you needed to use an emergency blanket, it doesn't matter if they're flimsy, because it's still going to save you even if you poke a hole in it. Then we have a ferro rod that also has magnesium on it. If you don't know about magnesium, what you'd do is you'd scrape off like a little pile of the magnesium, and you'd put it next to or just underneath like your tinder or whatever, and then you'd strike the ferro rod, and then because the magnesium is so reactive towards heat and things, as soon as the spark touches it, it goes up really bright, really hot, and it just burns really well. Great thing to help start a fire. It's got a nice little hold here for you. Quite comfortable, these ones actually. The striker, it's not the greatest. It's got a little lip towards the end here for you to strike on. It's not bad, but I've had better ones. But considering it comes with such a good ferro rod and magnesium rod, as you can see, look there. So that's where the ferro rod is. The rest is all magnesium. Anyway, it comes with a bottle opener, and I think that's to help you measure things. And it's got a little measurement on the side, a little like millimeter to measure, because you're supposed to have like pencil and then thicker, and yeah, for wood. But that's a story for a different day. But it's actually pretty good. These ones can be quite expensive, so the fact that it's coming that is nice. You have a locking carabiner. These should not be used for climbing, by the way, guys. It's just for holding some of these items or whatever. And we have two like mini carabiners. Again, none of this stuff can be used for climbing like the carabiners. We have a fishing kit here, and then we have another like hook set here, a little bit larger hooks, and a bit of a smaller set of hooks here. These all came in separate doors, but I don't make this kit. It's not, like I said, it's a little bit worth it over time, as you're opening, going through the days. There's 24 days. However, when I opened it, one of my days was missing, so I only got 23. But it's not terrible. You know what I mean? It cost me like £22, and I've probably made more than that. Well, I have definitely made more than that. Just in a few of these items. So, because the prices vary massively on the items, and they can be quite expensive. You do get one of these, like wallet or pocket survival tool sets. I used one of these before, had one of these in the past. Personally, I don't think they're quite useful. This one, it seems sharper than others I've had. However, I wouldn't trust this as a tool you're going to go out and actually survive with. I will say though, um, the bottle opener, it's great. It's an amazing bottle opener. And the can opener is a good can opener if you can get around the fact that you're poking yourself with the saw end. So just don't slip, and I guess you're fine. But yeah, they're not great. But you know, they're good for some uses. Personally, I would never rely on something like this. That's why I don't have them. I don't carry them. But you know, for the purpose of this video, I do own one because it comes in this kit. You get a small bundle of paracord. You know, it's enough to do something with. You can use it as a line. You can use it, for putting clothes on, or as a center line to put a tarp down so you get like an A-frame out of it, things like that. Um, it's quite a bit of cord on it, but you know, it's not like a huge amount, but it's enough to do enough, you know. But again, paracord is good cord, it's good stuff. You also get a set of it's a flathead and a Phillips head screwdriver, and they're like key shaped, but they're quite thick, quite sturdy. They're definitely made of some good metal, good steel there. They're quite nice, you know, little screwdrivers, because you never know when you're gonna need one, to be fair. So that's actually pretty good there. We then have a waterproof pill bottle. It's probably big enough to hold a couple matches, but I don't have Strike Anywhere matches. They're hard to find, but they're quite deep, so you could fit a couple matches in there. I'm probably not really gonna put anything in this. But they're completely waterproof because they have that O-ring seal, so they seal themselves and it stops water going in. Yeah, I probably won't use this at all, just because I don't have any Strike Anywhere matches or anything that I could fit in here. But I will keep hold of it, you know, in case I have a friend or anything that, you know, is active and needs to carry any medicine with them. Because it's always good to have something like that. You know, you don't want your medicine getting ruined, and sometimes it's difficult carrying all of the big packets. Last couple items in here, you know, other than the actual bag itself. We have what was referred to as a tactical pen. Basically, it's just a steel pen. It's just a biro. It's quite a nice biro. It's quite big, quite bulky, but you can get a good grasp on it because it has a window breaker on the back. So I mean, if you're looking for something, you know, just to have on your person in case, like, you know, if you're traveling in a car or things, in case, you know, you're trapped in the car. It's got a good window break on it. You know, it's solid steel. It's good. You know, it'll do the job. You know, and the biro, you know, it works quite well. Even on skin straight away. It's a good quality pen actually, and the ink doesn't smudge. So, and it's it's metal, so you're not losing or breaking that because of how big and heavy it is. So you notice if that goes missing from your pocket. Then there is this little survival knife they've put in there. It has a window breaker on it, a belt cutter, and then it's the blade itself. It's not bad. It comes pretty sharp. The blade is also oiled. It feels a little bit cheap, but not cheaply made, if that makes sense. The scales are like a polymer, so it doesn't feel great. But I have put it through a bit of trouble and tested it, and there's no wobble in the blade or anything, and it's good, it's strong, it's sturdy. It'll do, for the job that it needs to do, which will be cutting cord. That's all you really need it for, cutting cords or cutting a seatbelt. I mean, I wouldn't carry this if you're in the UK, just because of the size. It is just maybe just over 3 inches, and UK knife laws say no to carrying that. So if you are ever going to have this, the only time you can really carry something like this in the UK is if you are fishing or if you are going camping. So obviously not a carry item. Do not carry this. It's a bit silly if you think you can get away with it, because you cannot. Just purely based on its size, just try not to get yourselves in trouble and things like that. But yeah, so that is everything I got in this kit. It was supposed to be 24 days, but as I said earlier, I'm missing a day. But it is way worth its price. You basically get around £40 worth of stuff in this kit. Because I've seen a lot of this stuff going for quite a bit of money on its own. I mean, some pieces in here range from like £3 to £5 on their own, and then other pieces can be upwards of nearly between 15 and £20. I mean, these pens are just on their own. I have seen some of these selling for around £13, just on Amazon. And this compass, when I bought one, cost me 12, so that's like £25 just right there in 2 items. I've seen these for about £9. It's just, it doesn't seem worth it. It's just slowly going through it every day. But, by the end of the 24 days, it is more than worth every penny. The kit in here, it's not terrible. Gets jobs done that you need done. In a bind, I'd rather have the stuff in here than nothing. Just as anyone would, I suppose. But yeah, so that's what I think on this kit. There's some pretty good quality items, some not so good items, but that's what you get with all survival kits. It's live and learn. Just test, and that helps you get what you need by the time you'll end up needing it. Hopefully, it's like I said, it's not a terrible little advent calendar for its price, but yeah, you get some really high quality stuff. Like, again, this torch, the knife's not bad. This ferro rod, amazing. You get your good stuff. Like, again, emergency blankets. I cannot stress enough how important owning emergency blankets is, guys. Especially with the way everything is going these days. Start practicing, start learning If you're seeing this for the first time, thank you for staying to the end. To anyone who has previously watched any of my videos, thank you for staying for so long and watching my videos again. I appreciate you all coming back. Videos will be a lot more regular than they have been over the last nearly 3 years because I'll actually be posting again. But I cannot promise that it'll be actual regular content. I might only post one a month, I might miss a month, it all just depends on how things go. But yeah, thank you all for staying and watching. I appreciate you all. If you can't survive, learn. Yeah, that's always been my slogan. And make sure you go check out sirjellybean. His videos are amazing. He's a great friend. Amazing guy. His videos are funny, and when they're not funny, they are actually really good watches. Like I said, he does games, he does strategy games, and he does game lore videos and things like that. He's recently been doing lore videos on the Terminator T800, I believe. Actually a really good watch. I did enjoy those videos, so please check him out. Because it's his fault that I'm finally filming again. Sorry that this has been quite a long one. I had a lot to say, and obviously, I needed to show you through this advent calendar. Again, it is the advent calendar survival kit from Amazon. But don't buy it for anyone who doesn't know what they're doing with this, because it can be quite dangerous, some of the items in here. But anyway, with all that said, if you can't survive, learn. Thank you all for watching, and take care.